Good morning, students. Today we're going to discuss the BIR tax forms needed for the business. So let's start. So before we start, let us first introduce to you the kinds of business that we have in the Philippines. So the first thing that we have is what we call as the sole proprietorship. So their taxation is divided into two, which is the income tax and business tax. For the income tax, they have the prerogative to either choose 8% outright tax or withholding tax. While on the business, if the income is not, if the sales is not more than 3 million, then they can use a 3% percentage tax, so they call as the non-VAT payer. But if the sales is already 3 million or more, then value-added tax is needed for paying the business tax. For the partnership, it is almost the same with the sole proprietorship. So either they can use 8% outright tax or withholding tax for the income tax and 3% percentage tax if sales is not more than 3 million or value-added tax if sales is already 3 million or more. For the corporation, they need to prepare or to pay 30% corporate income tax or the MCIT. So MCIT or the minimum corporate tax only happens when there is a net loss. So the computation of MCIT will be sales multiplied by 2%. Okay? While on the business tax, so it's the same with the analogy of the sole proprietorship or partnership, wherein you can pay it 3% percentage tax if the sales is not more than 3 million, but you need to proceed for the value-added tax payment if the sales is already 3 million or more. For the cooperative, there will be no percentage for the payment of income tax since all stockholders here are all members. Okay, for the business tax, if the business is a product business, then they need to pay at least 1% tax for the business tax and at least 2% for the service tax. Okay, so for the certificate of registration, you need to use Form 1901 or Form 2303. So if you start up your business, you need to fill up first Form 1901 or Form 2303. So this is what we called as the certificate of registration. So Form 2303 is a certificate of registration mostly used in mixed business or mixed partnership. So after this, you need to fill up Form 1605 or payment form. So once you start the business, it's important that you know the golden rule of BIR. So when you start to apply your business, it's your task to report your business by filing the form whether you earn or not. So BIR must receive your report, and if you will not do it, then you will be accused of fraud. So neglecting to pay tax may accuse you of being a tax avoider or tax evader. So here's the requirements. So you need to have a 3 pieces form 1905, application for registration form update, 3 pieces form 1605 or payment form, 3 pieces form 1906 or application for authority to print receipt and invoices. Number 4 is 3 pieces form 1901 or application for registration, 2 columnar, original certificate of employment, and photocopy of valid ID containing your address. So annual registration fee or Form 1605 means 500 will be the yearly fee of Form 1605 or payment form. So you can pay it to the nearest AAB or accredited agency bank of RDO or Revenue District Office. So mostly Land Bank is the AAB of the Revenue District Office. Form 1906, this Form 1906 is important once you start the business. This is also called as the application for authority to print receipt and invoices. So you can go to accredited printing press located near BIR. 1,005 or more will be the payment for 10 booklet of receipts. So you need to process 1 week for the receipt. Wait for at least 1 week to print the receipt. So while waiting, finish the sample receipt under your name. Registration and keeping of books of accounts, manual or computerized. So primary registration is to the application of your T number. So if the business is a sole proprietorship, you can use your personal tax identification number. But if the business is a general partnership and corporation, you can start applying new TIN number for your business. So for the secondary registration, you need to register your books of accounts. So it should be stamped up and received by the BIR. Application for authority to print receipt and invoices. So this one is what we call as the Form 1906. Application for authority to use computerized accounting system. So if you do not like to prepare a manual system of accounts, then you can apply for the computerized accounting system. And application to use CRM and or POS. So this is mostly happen if your business is either supermarket, department store, or any other merchandising business. Okay, tax return form deadline of filing payment and procedures for filing up. So let's start with the monthly form. So monthly form, so we have the 1601C. So this is a monthly remittance return of income tax withheld on compensation. So this is a form for withholding tax contribution for the employees. Usually pay every 10th of the following month. So for example, the last day is January, so you need to pay it on February 10th. Okay? Next is the Form 2550M or monthly value added tax return. So this is a form when your business is a vatable business. So you can apply this every 25th of the following month. So example, for the month of January, you need to pay it on February 25th or February 25. 2550M. So 2550M is a monthly percentage tax return. So this form is used when your business is a non-VAT business. So you need to fill up your percentage tax here. Okay, next is the quarterly forms. So what are the quarterly forms? So we have, first one, we have the 1701Q or quarterly income tax return for employee, self-employed, and sole proprietor. So this is usually pay every quarter of operation. So you need to add at least 45 days every quarter of the period to pay your quarterly tax. For example, first quarter is January to March. So end of March, so you need to add 45 days. So you need to pay it on May 15. Next is what we called as the 1702Q. So quarterly income tax return for partnership and corporation. So this is usually pay every quarter of operation. So it's the same with the 1701Q. You need to add at least 45 days every quarter of the period to pay your quarterly tax. Okay, another example if it falls under fourth quarter. So fourth quarter is from October to December. And because this is we record our last payment based on the registered financial statement. So if it falls on the fourth quarter, then you can pay it until April 15 of the following month. So if the end period is from October to December 2021, then you can pay it on April 15, 2020. Okay? 2550Q, this means it is a quarterly value added tax return. So usually this is pay every quarter of operation. So you need to add at least 20 days after end of the quarter for payment. So example of first quarter, so from January to March, then you need to pay it on April 20. So for the second quarter, it's April to June, so you need to pay it on July 20, and so on and so forth. For the annual forms or annually forms, so we have 2316. 2316 is important because it is the summary or the certificate of compensation income of the employees for the whole year. Then we have the 1604 CF or Alpha Days Return. So this is a yearly summary of tax paid by all employees for the whole year. So it covered if they fully paid the tax or there are still due and outstanding that still need to deduct on their salary to fulfill the yearly tax obligation. For the 1701 or Annual Income Tax Return, so this is where you need to record the summary of your business tax paid for the whole year. So your basis here is Form 1701Q. So you have your tax credit if your tax pay is more than it is expected. So you can use the excess on the next accounting period. But if the tax paid is less, then the tax still due and outstanding should be paid before end of April 15 of the following year. Next is what we call as the 1702 or the Annual Income Tax Return for Partnership and Corporation. So here, this is where you need to record the summary of your business tax paid for the whole year. So your basis here is Form 1702Q. So it's the same with the 1701. You have your tax credit if you pay your tax more than it is expected. So you can use the excess on the next accounting period. But if the tax paid is less, then the tax still due and outstanding should be paid before end of April 15 of the following year. So this is the end of discussion for our BIR forms. So I'm just hoping you learned something from this short bit. And again, this is Ma'am Ching of Cavite State University.